Let's do this! So we're here.
Oh God, we're live. We're here. We're live in color.
Where is this? Is this YouTube?
Yeah, it is YouTube.
Wow.
Phenomenal cosmic power. Itty bitty living space.
No, this is great. For New York, we're living big. Hi, everyone.
Guys.
Hello. Welcome to our channel, I guess. I guess that's what we say.
Wow.
I don't really know. To be honest, who knows if anyone's really gonna watch this.
Yeah.
I know a few people from TikTok might be here.
And like, what are we gonna say? I don't ever talk at all. He does all the talking.
He's never spoken a word
I
before
never
in his
speak.
life.
I never speak.
These are the first words he's actually spoken. But welcome! We're Chris and Ian. Ian and Chris.
First night.
Alphabetical Chris and
I
Ian.
always say Chris and Ian. It's alphabetical, but you know, for the bit.
By the time this video comes out, it will actually be our 1 year anniversary of us meeting.
Crazy sauce.
1 year.
Crazy.
So I like to say that's our 1 year anniversary. It's not, but because he did not agree to be my boyfriend until 2 months into the relationship, right?
Yes. Sorry,
Right.
I was distracted.
By
The water for the pasta I'm making you.
the water.
The water, it's boiling.
Doesn't look like it.
I meant it's on heat.
So it will be 1 year of us meeting,
It's going great.
which is crazy. Neither of us had been in relationships that had lasted a year. So I don't think either of us expected this one to last that long or
No.
to make it to a year. I was definitely thinking in short terms always,
Yeah.
just because I had no idea. He moved across the country. Well, actually, before we get into this, let's just like go from the start. Because we
Okay.
know a lot of people have been wanting to hear our origin story. So this is the story of Chris and Ian. The story of us.
Story of us, thank you. Got a nice ring to it.
My friend Spencer posted a photo on his Instagram called Small Kitchen Sweets. Shout out. Go
So
follow.
good. Great cookies.
And Ian was in it because Spencer knew Ian through mutual friends. or
I had
something
met
like
him
that.
on the street through a friend of mine I did a show with who I love, and I was working on a project at the time and I wanted to treat my cast and crew just like a thank you when we were done shooting. So I asked Spencer to bake some of his special Small Kitchen Sweets cookies, and that's how we became friends. And so he took a photo with me and my dog at the time, which my roommate's dog, but like it was my dog. And that's the photo you saw.
I saw that photo because I had been following that account because Spencer and I have been friends for years now. When I saw the photo, I was like, who is that man?
I don't know.
So I clicked on his account and I gave him a nice like bomb. He likes to say I liked like 7 photos, maybe.
Yeah, I think I've said like 10 or 11 in exaggeration when I'm like telling a group, you know, whatever, like this guy
When
like
you're
11.
telling a group,
When I was telling a group, when I was in past tense. There was the, hey, I'm letting you know I see you thing.
I was trying to get his attention. So when I did that, the goal, I think I followed him also. The goal is to get someone to follow you back. Maybe give some likes, maybe send a message. I got 1 like back and nothing else. So I unfollowed because I said this prospect is not going forward in any way. And I thought that was that. And that was in April. That was my interaction with Ian Pageant, and it will probably never happen again. Summer happens and we are both just going about our business. World Pride comes around. I spend a lot of World Pride with another guy, but we end up at the same party.
Yes. And then I remembered at this party, I was living my life, I was dancing, I was having a ball because I was the only party I could really enjoy because I was doing a show. And so I remember just like living. The way I rant and I talk forever, imagine me with dance. I hear the beat and I'm just and I saw the guy he was with, who was a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, like he's coming to say hi, but like I'm living over here. I'll go say hi to him in a sec. And then like that just never happened because I was just dancing and we missed each other. But I didn't even know he was there. I just saw the other guy. I wake up the next morning and it's Pride, so like, you know, everyone's kind of just doing the like late wake up thing. And I noticed that he was tagged in a photo with the guy. And I was like, oh my God, that's the guy who liked a bunch of photos in April. So then like I went to his profile and I went to his story and I saw he was like up at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. for like a photo shoot. That gagged me because I was
Called productiveness, honey.
I just couldn't believe it. I thought if you were at the party we were at, I need an explanation as to like how you're alive and about to like give like broken doll.
I was at that party until 4 a.m. Fell asleep at, must have been like 6:30, and then I woke up at 10 for the photo shoot. Maybe 9:30, so I had about 3 hours of sleep and then went to the photo shoot. He also didn't know at that point that I was sober, so he probably thought I was like doing stuff and then somehow was able to still pull through. But no, I was just running on very little sleep. But those photos are still some of the best.
Yeah, one of those photos is like my favorite of him.
So then he messaged me, he replied to my story and just said, how?
How? With like 2 or 3 W's and like
Just two. It was the picture of me doing the photo shoot. So I saw that message and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and think he's saying, how do I look so good? But then I stopped myself and I was like, wait a minute. Ego, hush. Let's wonder, why is he asking how? Hush, ego. Why are you asking how? And he was like, how did you do a photo shoot? And I was like, oh, okay. Good thing I didn't go with thinking he was thinking I was hot, because clearly he probably still doesn't and is just wondering what the deal is. Our conversation kind of trailed off because I was like, this just isn't gonna work. I spent the rest of my time in New York with that other guy, and then I went on my train back to Boston.
Now there was exchanging happening and talking, and like there was now time for us to get to know each other.
When we were talking, it was very... Ian,
Christopher, go.
don't do that. When we were talking, it was very clear that we wanted different things, and I was in a space where I was like, I just want a relationship with a man. Actually, no, I was swearing off men.
Oh.
I was like, I don't think I want to engage in any type of way that's not going to be long-term, or I just am not trying to engage in this way at all. When we did plan, we made loose plans to hang out once we were both back in the city, and when we were eventually going to be both back in the city on the certain day, it was kind of lackluster, and I know you were thinking it might not happen. I was thinking it might not happen.
It was a lot.
And then I was going to this rooftop pool with my friend, and I texted him and I was like, hey, I could get you a guest pass for the pool if you want. And he is a terrible responder sometimes, so he didn't respond right away. So then I was like, let me just text and get this guest pass. So I got it for him. And then he responded later and was like, oh, you don't have to do that. But I was like, well, I already did. So
And
come
then I
if
was
you
like,
want.
oh, okay, well, if you did, then I will, okay, then I'll come after I do my workout. The reason I didn't respond, just like to be clear, was because what was explained was he might not be able to get this guest pass, and I was like, okay, like, then I'm gonna have to figure out my day, and I don't know you yet, so I'm gonna prioritize on my blooming over here. And then the text came that was, hey, I can get you in, and I thought, oh, okay, well, that works out because I'm taking this workout class, and I can come after.
Yeah.
Feeling snatched and things, and, you know, like, ready.
My boss never responds that quickly, and it was a miracle that he happened to respond in literally 5 minutes. Usually I have to give him a day notice. So the fact that he responded in 5 minutes, it was the universe putting it together that this was meant to happen.
Putting it together.
So we ended up meeting up at this pool. I was with my friend. This story is actually on our TikTok because this is our first kiss story. I was with my friend, but then Ian arrived, and Ian and I were just getting to know each other, and we were talking a lot.
I stole the show.
He stole the show.
Actually, I was so lovely to his friend. I felt like I was super attentive. When you're meeting this person under the guise of like, we're attracted to each other, but there's your friend here, I will tend to literally make the friend feel so comfortable because that allows me to access me easier and freer.
Yeah.
So you get to see like me with people, and you're like, oh, good. He's having a good, easy conversation. It's good for me. It makes me not feel like I'm like, hey, what do you like? Like, oh, mint chocolate chip. Oh, okay. Like, I want pistachio. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing. So it just was like it was great.
Andrew actually had something he had to go do that day, so he ended up leaving just us at the pool. So then we're talking on these two pool chairs, and then he looks at me and says, can I kiss you?
It went like this. It was like, can I kiss you?
And I probably responded like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what you did.
I actually used to tell friends that I said something like, why haven't you yet? Or why are we still talking about it? But no, instead I definitely just gave a like, please. And then we kissed. He had an acting class that he had to get to. I walked into his acting class. We kissed along the way multiple times. Smitten. Very, very. And then I met up with him after his acting class. We hung out a little bit more. He was like, I wish you could stay with me, but I was staying with my friend. So then I was like, I don't know. I don't think I can because I made plans with my friend. Turns out that night, my friend was like, I can't host you tomorrow night. Is there anywhere you could stay? And I was like, yeah, there is. So now we have the boss and the friend both just handing me these things that are gonna make it work between me and Ian. So I text Ian and I'm like, can I come stay with you tomorrow night? He's like, of course, I just have a dinner. And I'm like, I have a dinner too, which I did. I meet up with him, we hang out during the day. I go to dinner with my friend and I'm telling her after one day that I'm like, I think I'm in love with this man. I don't want to say the word love because that's like so soon, but I think I'm in love with him. And she was just like, yeah, for sure. I'm trying to do damage control and being like, yeah, it might not work out and I won't be upset if it doesn't. I would have been broken if it didn't. I was just like so sure of what I was feeling right after one day, but also trying to stuff it a little bit and be like, stay calm and don't be crazy right now. You don't really know this guy. You just know how you're feeling, so just be prepared.
It was great. It was like everything just kind of fell into place to allow us to get to know each other. I had a lot of free time. Like I was able to focus on this human that all of a sudden was like put into my universe, and we just like clicked on musical theater. That was the one thing I noticed. I was like, oh, I feel like I've not enjoyed and felt joy speaking about this thing I do for like a living in a long time. And so like I just like really loved that we were smitten over Thoroughly Modern Millie and stuff like that, and talking about Beltress girl here, Miss girl over there. You know what I mean? Like music theater geek stuff. And then obviously like super attracted to him, and like these eyes, that jaw, like what? Do you know what I mean? His face. So after that, he was doing the back and forth between Boston and New York, and I was here kind of by myself because my roommate wasn't around. And I was like, you can stay here and we can just kind of shack up. And he spent like a week here with me, literally like the next week. It's one of those tales of when you kind of know, you know. You kind of know. You're like, I just kind of know this thing and it feels fun and good. So let's know more of it. There was fear, and the more that blossomed into a beautiful thing, also came like my array of fears. The more vulnerability there is, the more at stake, the more into it you get, the more there's at stake. It was beautiful, and then I was like, I'm gonna move to LA.
In his reluctancy, is that a word? Reluctancy? I was diving in with the love right away. That was also freaking me out because I was like, I am ready for marriage after 1 week of being together. I am ready for marriage. I'm ready to move in here. Also, by this point, every time we would leave each other, like I would go back to Boston, we would cry. Like we would literally start crying about like what we have and how it's hard to be apart and what we love. So then when he told me he was gonna go to LA, I was like, oh wow, okay. But that didn't stop me. He said he's going to LA, so I was like, okay, let's make it work. So I saved up my money and I said, why don't I visit you in LA? At the end of his New York stay, when he announced he was going to LA, I was like, so what's going on here? What can we call this? He was like, I don't know, what do you want to call it? And I was like, I don't want to say it. And I didn't say it for like 20 minutes. He was just like, what do you want to say? And I was like, I don't know. It was happening right over there. I don't want to say it because I'm scared of being rejected. And he was like, just say it. And I was like, do you want to be my boyfriend? And he was like, no. Whoa, there's my fear coming true.
And then you were fine and you survived it?
Yeah. And then he told me he loved me. So, I feel some mixed signals coming on. You know what? It's okay if we don't have to put the label on it. I'm gonna keep going the way I'm going. So he left for LA. I decided to save up my money every weekend, buy the cheapest flights I could out to LA, and go out there for 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, get back for school. I would fly on the red eye and be back at school on Monday for my 9:30 a.m. class. We would land at about 7:30 a.m. The first moment I got to LA, once we saw each other, I was like, listen, now that I've flown across the country for you, are you ready to say I'm your boyfriend?
I called him by his full name. I was like, Christopher Norbert Olsen. Do you want to be my boyfriend?
And I was like, Norbert? My middle name is Norman, which is like a strange middle name. It's my grandfather's.
I was trying to be cute, so I'm gonna say your full name. I got it wrong.
That is how we started. That is how the whole thing began. I'm sure there are some little details here and there that we left out. And there are so many more stories that came after that we will definitely tell at a later date, but that doesn't fit into the how we met story.
Ins and outs of a long distance while you're still trying to get each other. We're still trying trying to like get each other. It was so layered. I will just say what was beautiful about it and helpful for me, who had been single for a very long time and was in a relationship like a year before. I was trepidatious at jumping into this new thing with someone who was so willing. He was just so willing to love me, and he didn't know me yet. And so that was beautiful, and you just say yes to that. You just say yes, even if you don't know your thing yet. But what was helpful was having our distance, because it forced me to have to connect with him. It forced us to have to get to know each other, and it wasn't easy. There was fun in the having to get to do this thing. There was immense growth. And when we saw each other, oh my God, my favorite parts of when he visited was when I picked him up at the airport. I would have flowers, and it would just be like, hey, like, dude, and then you hold them and you feel them, and we'd hold hands in that car, and just like I could show him this life I was leading by myself, but that I wanted to share with him. And there's beauty in space away from each other, because when you do come together, you just want to live that up to its full potential. I was just so happy he was there, and then he would leave, and then I would look forward to when he would come back. Long distance isn't desirable, but on some divine level, it was exactly what was perfect for us. Just what the doctor ordered.
So that's us.
That's us.
So that's us.
with Chris and Ian.
Thank you guys for watching, whoever did.
Yeah.
If a few people did, if anyone did, if one person did, thank you.
Should we stay with the brick? I've got a nice wall that I spent a lot of time painting that he did not. Did you help paint? Do we like brick? Maybe we'll move to blue, test it out.
We'll try to do this regularly. We'll see how this first one does.
Yeah.
And we hope you have a wonderful day. Focus on your blooming. We love you.
Bye.